One of the things that I thought, so for those who don't know, and I'm sure most people watching this do, that she announced her retirement in Vogue, it seemed almost perfect in a way, given the degree to which her brand is tied to fashion, to being an influencer. I mean, give us some sense of where she has gotten her wealth, because the winnings is just a part of it.
Exactly. I don't want to dismiss what she's done on the court. She's won almost 95 million in career prize money on the WTA tour. That's more than double the next best mark in the history of women's tennis. That was her sister Venus who did that. So absolutely, she's had a sort of unmatched career on the court, but off the court, she's been even more successful. By our estimates at Forbes, she's made more than 340 million across her career before deducting for taxes and agents fees. When you look at her endorsements, her appearance fees, all her other business endeavors, and so that career earnings total of 440 million or so, that's easily the most for a female athlete ever. Her old rival Maria Sharapova is the second highest ever in terms of our tracking. That was 325 million. So she's more than 100 million beyond the next best female athlete ever. And as you suggest, she has been remarkably successful and consistently successful on the marketing side. She's had endorsements pretty consistently with more than a dozen partners over the last several years. Her biggest is Nike, but she also has a variety of brands, everything from Gucci to Subway to Lincoln Cars. And then recently, she has really been diving headfirst into investing, into venture capital.
Mm-hmm.
And so she has invested in startups for several years, but formally announced her firm, Serena Ventures, in 2019, focusing on early stage startups. And that firm now has investments in more than 60 companies. And in March, they announced that they had raised an inaugural fund of $111 million. So she's really gone, sort of headfirst into that venture capital space.
I wonder if she's inspired by her husband, Alexis Ohanian, and obviously that's where a lot of his success has come from too. I mean, one of the things that's interesting is that an overall trend really about taking equity, being an entrepreneur, as opposed to the usual endorsement deals of here's a lot of money, please wear our sneakers.
Yeah, definitely. That's something we're seeing all across the sports world. In tennis, we saw it recently with Roger Federer, who it was a major investor in On, the Swiss running shoe brand that IPO'd fairly recently. In other sports, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry in the NBA, all have huge investment portfolios or are founding companies themselves. Those three all have their own media companies. So definitely the trend that we're seeing in sports now among these superstar athletes is, less about the sort of traditional sponsorships and that passive income and more entrepreneurial.